All right. Episode 3. Should probably actually read some of this. Oh, there's a lot of words in here. Hey, we're back again. It's episode 3 of Space Like Adventure. Thanks for joining us for another episode. Before we dive in, just want to let you know that Arlo is not going to be with us this week. He's over in the US. He's at Gen Con, having an awesome time. But that's not going to stop us from getting into another great episode. So in the last episode, the crew heard about Franco, the brother of Jimmy the Belter. So Franco was supposed to go work for someone called Pope, but he mysteriously just never returned. After the crew left Jimmy's house, they were stopped by a man in a really crisp outfit and with a really great attitude who wanted them to go meet his boss. So it turns out that boss was Elder Birch, the highest ranking Mormon on Tycho Station. And it turns out he had some aligned interests with the Belters because he too has had some scientists go missing. So when we left off, the crew had just decided to help Elder Birch with his problem. But do they really know what they've gotten themselves into? Let's find out. So steaming liquid pours out of a dispenser and fills a bulb of faux coffee. And a man in a white button-down shirt and a pair of grey slacks reaches down and picks up the bulb. And he raises the coffee to his mouth and he takes a sip and he's like, ooh boy, that's hot. All right, keep it cool, Oliver. You've got this. Elder Birch, he requested the dossiers. You have them. He's going to be so impressed when you walk in and give him these files. Not to mention the fact you were the one that went and got all those Gentiles. Promotion territory. Everything is coming up, Oliver. So he walks out of the small kitchen where he's giving himself this pep talk, and he walks through some hallways and he opens some double doors and then enters a large office where he finds the 5 of you with Elder Birch at a desk. Elder Birch spots Oliver and he says, Oliver, thank you. The dossiers, please. And at this point, we switch perspective to you guys. So you guys are seated around this table. You've been told that the dossiers are coming. And then you've seen the Mormon who collected you guys walk into the room. And sort of like, he's kind of like a little bit of a, jazzy individual. Jazzy is like a little snazzy kind of guy. So he walks in and is doing finger guns and winking. And he hands the dossiers over to Elder Birch. What are you guys doing as he walks in?
I think Mo's just like sitting in a corner. Mo's gonna try and listen as much as possible, but try and not interject unless needed.
Great.
For Atea, there is something about this guy that's scratching an itch in the back of her brain, reminding her of a certain person that she looks up to from her past. I think she's drawn to this young man in a strange way.
It's like a shining wink at you for a moment as he looks across. So
she blushes.
And
Trevor's going to lean for the... sorry.
Go ahead.
I said Trevor's just going to lean out for the coffee.
The coffee that he was drinking.
Cheers, Ollie.
Holding
cheers,
the
mate.
dossier. Like, the rhyme guy. Okay, yeah, here you go.
Cheers, Ollie.
Nice.
Read my mind.
It wasn't that. Yes, for you. That's who it was for.
I'll take one of those too if you hand them out.
Yes. Anyone for coffees?
I'm okay. Well, I mean, are you gonna bring it to me?
Sure. Yeah. Why not?
Yeah. All right. No, I'll take a coffee from you.
Okay. All right.
Sorry, what was your name? Oliver? Is that right?
Oliver, yes.
I'm Atea. Nice to meet you, Pumpkin.
Yes. This is the dossiers, Elder Birch. Here they are. He hands them over to Elder Birch and sort of stands there expectantly. He's like very proud. His chest is puffed out. And he says, yes, thank you. That will be all. And Oliver just looks crestfallen for a moment there. It's just like, this didn't play out the way he was expecting. He wasn't expecting to have his coffee taken off of him and then be sent out with a coffee order. And he goes, oh, okay, I'll go get the coffees. And then he just sort of walks out of the room, sadly. So then Elder Birch starts speaking. And he goes, yes, here they are, the scientists. I have a dossier on each of them here. To get started, please take these and familiarize yourself with the information herein. And he slides 2 of the 3 dossiers across the desk to you guys. And he also says, I'm across the details of what we know about the disappearances of Dr. Pateo and Dr. Bragenholm. So I could also answer any questions that you might have, or at least point you in the right direction of where you could find some more information.
Did they go missing off Tycho Station or elsewhere?
Oh yes, all from Tycho Station. You could see in the dossier their last known location, both the same place, which was the Nauvoo offices. That was their last seen place when they finished up their work.
Both had previous relations to Pope Industries.
Not that I'm aware of any Pope industry connections. They were working on the Nauvoo project for us.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Atea's gonna reach over and have a read of one of the dossiers.
Great.
Right. Well, while she's doing that, Mo looks to Elder Birch, says, what about the third one?
The third one. Elder Birch begins to speak and he says, yes, this dossier. It contains the information we've gathered about the Belters who have gone missing. And he hands it over to you. And within this dossier, you can see why we believe the 2 disappearances to be connected.
Mo starts flicking through it. How many people are in this dossier?
Are you asking me or are you asking him?
No, I mean, Mo's flicking through it, so asking you.
Yeah. So this one is like, if Kess is also flicking through the other dossier at the same time, you would see that that one has like a bunch of information in there about the specific scientist who has gone missing. Each of the dossiers is focused on a specific person, but this one is a lot more scant with information on the actual parties. There's more like analysis and like conclusions being drawn, like people treated more like numbers that establish trends. But in the back, there is like a series of surnames of the people who have gone missing. And there's like lots of name unknown. But there's like, there's sort of like 24-ish names here.
Okay.
There's lots of names there as well, but lots of name unknown written down.
Right. Okay. Mo flicking through and be like, a lot of boaters go missing all over the station. Why pick out? How'd you manage to pick out these individuals?
Well, you see, primarily you could see that the Belters who have gone missing, they were young, unemployed, and very often not with any family to speak of. It's only in a few rare occurrences, the darkness I could see has swept across Shrike over there. In this moment, it's a difficult scenario to go with. That's his lights. Oh, that's great.
You don't
very
know
often.
what's happening.
Okay, well, you're still online.
Bear with me.
Okay.
Well, I'm still here.
Yes, your internet is still working. Okay, we'll keep role playing over there. D&D in the dark, everybody.
Ambience.
That's it. So yeah, very often than not, with any family to speak of. So it's only in a few rare occurrences that we even find anyone to speak to, like your friend Jimmy and his brother Franco. But the reason we believe the disappearances are connected is the time that they occurred. In both instances, roughly 6 belters, matching the criteria that I went through earlier, also disappeared at the same time as our scientists.
Any other leads you can give us, or just these dossiers?
There is... I can't... I believe there's quite a lot within the dossiers of the... I believe I'm giving you quite a lot of information.
I'm not saying this isn't enough, Mr. Birch. I'm just asking the question.
Sure. No, what I will say is I'm more than happy to try and help in any way. So if you have any specific questions for me or anything, I'd be more than happy to try and answer them. And I would be more than happy to, I would say the Nauvoo project is paramount to what we are doing as the entire Mormon faith. So this being successful is extremely important to me. So I will bar no door from you if you are looking for information.
Now, as we've already previously discussed, while our end goal is the same, our motivations are not. So I couldn't care less about your Nauvoo project at all. One question on these scientists: what were they working on specifically?
Of course. So Dr. Bragenholm, as you can see in the dossier, was an E-class engineer. So engineering life support specialist. So she was responsible for the life support of the ship. So extremely important, keeping people alive. And then Dr. Mateo, his specialist was more medical in nature, but his department worked directly with the E-class department. So their work was aligned in the instance that it was their responsibility to make sure that the people on the Nauvoo will be safe.
Right.
So E-class, is there like an A, B, C, D, E class, or is it like, because like if they're E-class and it's like, there's like an A class, like why do we really care about the E-class, right?
So it's sort of like I found this one as well when I started just finding out about spaceships. You see that it's not a class, it's actually ECLSS. It's an acronym, and in the spaceship world, they kind of make it sound like a easy to say. It's not actually a class, basically, is what I'm getting at.
Okay. All right. So these are important people.
Yes.
Because if they were like E-class citizens, I'd probably, no, I care the same.
Yes, sure you would, Princess. If there is nothing else you can give us, Mr. Birch, I think, can we take these dossiers with us?
Absolutely, yes. You may take the information herein, and might I suggest that we just go over the disappearance itself, the time that occurred, might be something that you would like to take a look at. I feel like that is very valid information.
I think anything you can tell us that isn't here on the paper is a win.
Great. So I think mechanically, just because you guys don't have actual dossiers that you can walk away and look at, you might want to ask me some questions about what's in the dossier specifically, if there's some information that you're looking for. And then if you do want to try and pry a little bit further than that, you can try and make a test to see if he's withholding some information from you or something like that.
Okay.
But yeah, there is a range of things that you can obtain just by sort of asking me about what's in here.
Okay. I have questions. Is there a lost scene, like a location that we could start at for any of them?
Yes. So both of them have last seen locations, which is they both left the Nauvoo offices, and it happened at different times, basically. So Dr. Bragenholm, she left, leaving her station in the Nauvoo project offices 3 months ago at 5:24 p.m. Tycho station time. And then Dr. Mateo, he left, when did he leave here? He left at 3 weeks ago at 6:33 p.m. Tycho station time. So both of them are leaving their stations at the same building.
Mm-hmm. And is there a like last seen by like a specific person we could go to, or is it just based on like, all right, this is when they left, maybe we could go and probe the people at the offices?
Yeah, so they've questioned their co-workers and stuff like that, and they've collated some information here. So it doesn't say specifically who it is, but it's like, there's like, cameras and all kinds of records and things like that. Here's the time he clocked out, all that kind of stuff that they're using to figure out when he left.
Okay. And you go.
No, you go.
No. I spoke over you. I'm yapping. You go.
I was gonna say, have they included any like CCTV or camera footage from outside the building?
There's like a little photo of each of them, so you know what each of them look like, but there's no camera footage. So you would know, all of you guys would know, to get a hold of like the outside footage, you'd need to go to like Tycho Station security and try and talk to someone and see if you could like get someone to do you a favor and give you access to that footage. So you guys would all know that. Mo especially, you would be like extremely familiar with like that as like a first port of call.
Yeah. I think Mo would pike up as he's sort of flicking through these belter ones again, and stuff. He'd be like, so what made you make the connection from the scientists to the belters? Because that still doesn't seem very clear to me.
Sure. I understand that it may seem like something of a leap to jump between these two things, but the timing itself is undeniable. That is something that we have noticed. And after the first disappearance, we sent people out, we watched these things, and we saw these clusters of disappearances occur and then disappearances stopping. And look, this is different than the type of misfortune that happens to these displaced individuals. Crime, those types of things, deaths, those types of things. These are explainable, but just complete vanishing off the station? That's rare.
I understand your point, but
so you know that these people have disappeared. How though? Because there's photos here of security cameras. So did they just evaporate into thin air? Like Tycho Station is big, but like it's a man-made structure. So there has to be someone or we're all monitored all the time. There has to be footage of like, a direction or like how, like,
You're right. There must be. And if we had our usual avenues to go through, we would have gone straight to Tycho Station security and requested that these camera logs were provided to us, and we would have tried to follow Dr. Matteo after he left his station. As you can see from his photo, he has blue hair, so that's why we would go to him first. He's more distinctive. We'd care equally about Dr. Bragenholm. He also went missing more recently, so that we figured the trail might be less cold. So we would go and we would ask, but as we've said, we can't do that right now.
Why did you wait so long? If one person went missing and then you were like, where did this person go? And then another person went missing and you're like, where did this person go? Why didn't you pull the alarm like the day of? Isn't it a true fact that, most cold cases go cold like 24 hours after they've happened?
Well, I'm not a detective. So
neither am I. This is, don't worry, you wouldn't want to be.
But as we discussed, we're in a situation here where we do not feel that we can speak to the security, the police of this space station, because the OPA who they go through, the Outer Planets Alliance, they took our Nauvoo, our spaceship, and they threw it at a rogue space station, and they missed, and now our ship is flying out into God knows where.
No, like I know about your big deals, but
So,
no, I just mean,
and
like,
as we
as a-
discussed previously, if we can't speak to the leadership of the station, if we can't speak to the police, and as we discussed, not many folks are arising, even trying to help out any belters, we're left with a spot where we were sitting passively and waiting for someone to arrive.
Yeah.
And then along come the five of you. A happy incidence.
So you're shit out of luck, and you've come to us of all people. Hilarious. All right.
That letter of
well,
recommendation that you wanted is seeming to be a little bit challenging. I didn't realize this language.
No, sorry. I just listen, when you hang around people who don't really care as much as you do, they rub off on you sometimes.
Sure. Yes. E-class citizens, perhaps.
Yes.
Let's just be glad it doesn't work both ways, princess.
He said that sarcastically, by the way. Like he's looking down on her for saying E-class citizens. He's not agreeing that there are
He's not
E-class
an
citizens.
elitist. No.
How dare he?
Can I say when Atea's speaking to him, Shrike just kind of leans onto Mo and she like hushed. She goes, "I know someone in the police force that could be of help, but we'd actually have to go and like find him. I actually don't know where he is, but I feel like that's a good place to start
I'm sure
if you think so."
any form of authority that can give us access to things that these guys don't have, that's going to help.
I mean, it's like one step towards, going to actual cops and then maybe OPA, but
We might be able to understand the roadblocks that these guys have been given anyway.
I think that's a good place to start if you think so. And
Great.
like after that she just like goes back and just declares.
Sorry, Igor.
Mo says, Mr. Birch, now I'm going to ask one last time, anything else that you think might be of importance to us?
Oh, and to climb on top of that, so because we're investigating stuff related to the Navo project, do we just have access? Like, are we allowed to go and check out your offices, or just where these people have actually, were last seen? I feel like that would be pretty helpful.
Of course, you could speak to the colleagues of Dr. Matteo and Dr. Bragenholm. They're at the Nauvoo offices. It's closed today, but be happy to give you access to them when they're back in the office tomorrow.
So,
but your question, my friend Mo. Give me I just want a communications test here, and it would need to be investigation if you're going to use a focus on this.
okay,
I won't
that's
give you
fine. I
intuition
don't
on
have
this.
that. That's fine.
So just a 13. See if you can beat a 13 here.
That'll be a 10.
Oh,
Wait, I can sack fortune for this, can't I?
Yeah, if you want to.
Oh, hell yeah. All right, I'm going to sack, I'm going to sack 3 fortune to up that last die to a 3. Oh, no, sorry, 4.
So you need to spend
to
4.
up it to, yes, 4 to up it to a 4 and to make that 13.
All right. So you're using one of the features of the Expanse RPG there, where you're using your health, which is called Fortune, which is just the same as hit points in D&D basically, but you can spend your health to change a dice roll. You changed a 1 to a 4, so you spent 4 points to do so. So great. So he racks his brain a little bit. He's like, I guess the only thing about the 2 scientists that isn't in the dossiers that I was told by the colleagues is Dr. Bragenholm. She announced that about 2 months before she disappeared, she was speaking to one of her colleagues about this, and she mentioned that she'd been offered a job somewhere, an interesting job for a lot more money, and she claimed to have turned it down because she didn't want to lose her spot on the Nauvoo. There's that.
Any idea who this job is from?
Sorry?
Any idea who this job was from?
No, of course she wouldn't have told that to me, and I don't think she told it to her colleagues either. But Yes.
One last quick thing before we go. You ever heard of Opal?
No. Opal.
Doesn't ring a bell?
It's
Any
like
corporation, any project, anything?
a gemstone from old Earth type of thing.
Yeah. It's all right. Just a question. That word seems to have popped up a few places. I mean, if you could use your sources to see if anything's around, that'd be appreciated.
Yeah, sure.
Because it could be
Happy to.
related.
Happy to. And yes, if there's anything else I could tell you about Dr. Matteo, he's just very well liked, extremely well liked. He was beloved, some would say, amongst his team, and widely regarded as one of the best minds in his field.
What was he working on specifically?
So his work specifically is absolutely vital to the life support systems of the Nauvoo, for people to stay breathing, to people to stay healthy, for people to stay alive. His work must continue. So it's crippling to the project for him not to be there.
Have either of these scientists been replaced?
No.
Okay.
So 2 important cogs of the Nauvoo project have gone missing. The 2 most vital.
Right you are, my
People.
friend.
No,
Can
there's
I, while this is taking place, I want to take the documents with the belters, and I'd like to hand it over to Shrike specifically. And I don't feel like I don't say anything. I feel like I just meet Shrike's eyes. I like look at the documents, and she just kind of like hands it over to you haphazardly.
Yeah, Shrike will definitely take that. And she's like, thank you. But like she doesn't want to say anymore. She does not want to admit that she actually does appreciate that a
Mateo
lot.
winks at you.
She cringes. She's like, okay, don't do that.
Does Shrike look through the dossier?
I want to ask if she can look at the names and if she recognizes anyone.
Great. Let's go. So yeah. Well, let's do this first. Like, what goes through Shrike's mind before reading through these names?
It's mostly dread. Because she wasn't raised in a good part of Tycho Station. Like, she was around, like, in the area where Jimmy was located. So these people, if they were in her situation, she might have known them, she might have cared about them, they might have cared about her. So if there was anyone else that in her life that is gone again, I don't think she would know how to handle it, but she would like put on the stoic face, pretend that she doesn't care.
So you run your eyes down the list, seeing far more name unknown than names, but eventually you make it to the L's, and you read Leon, Liederman, name unknown, and then Marcano. The L's finish with the name that you're looking for not there. What goes through Shrike's mind?
I don't know how obvious it would be, but I think you can tell that her shoulders kind of drop and there's like a dejected look to her, but she just kind of nods and she goes, well, there are some names that I might recognize, but no one that I really know. And she kind of like hands it back to Atea, but there's like a drop in her voice. She doesn't seem too happy right now. But
Can I pick up on that at all, or absolutely not? Do you think?
I think I like maybe it's obvious.
Oh,
But
okay.
yeah, but like if you wanna,
Okay. Well, I guess Atea catches Shrike's eyes in that kind of moment. And she says, so you don't know anyone?
I thought I would, but she's not here.
Okay. Okay, well, you're not going to be of any help, are you? Moses, this is for you. She'll hand it back over to to Mo.
Mo puts his hand out and he'll take it. He did definitely think about letting her just drop it to the ground, but he took it. And he'll be like, if that'll be all, Mr. Birch, I think we should start working on this.
He says, well, yes, I dare say that we've exhausted everything that I know and what we have in these dossiers. So I dare say, my friends, the next move is yours.